So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for episode number 5 of the Motorsport Manager career here with Martini Williams Racing, or Williams Martini Racing, or whatever order you decide to put it in. Today, we're heading off to Tondela, the Portuguese Grand Prix, and going into this one, we've been alright, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's some spoilers probably on the screen, but if you want to go back and watch any of the episodes for yourselves, then check out the top right of the screen. There'll be a link to the playlist. So guys, Sirotkin is P7 in the championship at the moment, 18 points collected, ahead of Max Verstappen, would you believe, in the Red Bull. So really solid start to the season for the Russian. Kubica's been a little bit more unlucky. He had a very good opportunity to get some really good points last time out, but crashed out of the lead. It wasn't the net lead, he was on an alternate strategy, but he probably would have finished top 5 in that Grand Prix, so instead he languishes down in 16th. Regardless of that, we're going to get jumping into this episode. I don't really care about a lot of this stuff, but we'll have an interview with Will Buxton. I love this geese. Let's talk about Robert Kubica's crash. Where does the fault lie? It was a bad mistake. He needs to have a hard, long look at himself. It was, in fairness. There must have been an issue with the car. I'm not going to go for that one because it wasn't the mechanic's fault. I wasn't asking him to push either, so I'm just going to go straight at Kubica, mate. Look, listen, I'm sorry, Robert. It was your fault. It wasn't my fault. I'm not going to throw myself under the bus to the chairman when he was on conserve at the time that he crashed. So I'm not having any of that situation at all. Pit crew review, we had a mistake-free weekend. I've forgotten about that, to be honest with you, in Russia. But there you go. Right. There's not too many things that we need to do, I don't think, in between episodes here. I don't think we've even got a GMA vote, have we? Oh no, we have. 2 days left until the removal of the Japanese Grand Prix. So there's some stamina issues here and there. Only 59 on this guy on the tyres, so I think I'm going to swap him out. Actually, let me take a look at mistake percentage more than anything. Yeah, we'll remove this guy because he's on 1.7 and bring in Sembi Ferries. He's 20 on that. Hale can... Actually, no, we'll leave Hale and Leonard for now. To improve on their stamina and stuff. This guy on the rear jack, though, has got 2.9. That isn't really ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this Donny because he's a bit rubbish. So fire that pit crew member. And we'll try and bring in someone else who's good on the rear jack. This guy's okay, Robinson here, so we'll hire him. Everyone else, I mean, we've got people who are 20 on tyres in abundance, so I don't need an extra person in that regard. I just need someone else on the rear jack. So we'll swap out Lumley, put in Robinson, and then as far as that is concerned, I think mistake percentage is absolutely fine. And then it's just about putting these guys into recovery and hopefully making sure that their mistake percentage goes down. Let me take a look at the car, though. We can actually design a new part at the moment, though low-speed corners were still 9th in the grid, so let's maybe go for that actually. So let's design another new front wing. Now at this point we can actually go to 2 different tiers, so we can have like low speed corners plus 10, then reliability plus 10, and then we can go down to good knowledge here as well. Because we've already built one front wing, we now have a bit more knowledge on them, so we can spend a bit more money and basically improve the part even more than it would be just on this first tier. And obviously that continues on slot 3, slot 4 and slot 5. So to be honest with you, I'm probably going to go for low speed corners plus 10 and reliability plus 10. Although having said that, you get 800 and... Right, hang on. So we're on 788. We could move up to 798, or we could move up to 813 here. It would just then take some work on the working on the parts section to then get it up to its peak. And then I suppose what we could do is just bump this up as well. Yeah, that would be a good idea, actually, because then we've got the max really high and the current level of it really high as well. So reliability will still be pretty low. We can obviously work on that one. It's going to cost £800,000 to do this, but we've got 18 million in the bank, and we're getting a lot more than 800k in sponsorship every single race. So let's go ahead and do that. It's 5 days after the next race, so it won't be ready for the next one. And in terms of reliability, it might not even be ready for the one after that. We'll have to wait and see. As you can see at the moment, in terms of the improvement in departments and improvement of parts, we've got performance on this new front wing, this spec, or well, not spec front wing, but original front wing that we had from back in the day. And then also a new rear wing and new suspension are getting worked on. The suspension is also being improved in terms of reliability, as is the new gearbox and the new front wing, which we made last time. That's already up to 55%, but probably still won't be ready for the next Grand Prix. Now though, it is time for a new vote. It's time to get on to the politics, because it's time for the removal of the Japanese Grand Prix. This rule will benefit teams like Red Bull, Force India and McLaren. It will not benefit teams likely to perform at Japan, which includes us, Renault, Haas and Alfa Romeo. If I'm going to be brutally honest here, I know this track apparently suits us, however, I don't care. And that's probably, I mean, it's mostly because the season is so long that I'd almost rather races be taken out, whether we perform well at them or not. I'd rather there be less races in a season. So I'm tempted to abstain just because I don't really care either way. So I know it's a bit anticlimactic because obviously we're our first ever GMA vote and we literally are abstaining. But we'll skip to the end of this one. It might get approved anyway. It's a vote and Jean Top decides against. Okay, brilliant. Whatever. I mean, okay, so good. So we've kept the Japanese Grand Prix. Don't really care either way, but Jean Top was the man to decide it in the end. It's now time to jump ahead into the Portuguese Grand Prix, or it would be actually if we didn't have a new offer on a sponsorship deal. Now, they're both bonus payments, which, to be honest with you, isn't that ideal. Its target position is 4th or above. We're never going to manage that. And it's 800k bonus. We get 3 million up front, but I don't, the thing is, I don't want race bonus ones. Once again, we're going to have to, unfortunately, skip the sponsorship because none of them are any good. Now that it is time to get into round number 5 of the season, SMP Racing will be the bonus sponsor select, but obviously we are very unlikely to actually get that one because it's 3rd or above. So we've gone for 8, 4 and 3, soft, medium and hard respectively, and then part fitting. We will fit these. It'll pretty much be the same as the last Grand Prix because we've not got any new parts to use. So it's time for practice then. It's looking pretty sunny, I can't lie to you. It's looking beautiful sunshine. Once again, I forgot to actually look at what the weather would be saying across the weekend, generally speaking, but there we go. Obviously, as per usual, Kubica and Russell are going to be your practice drivers. Alright, so both drivers going to get sent out onto the track. That is all well and good. And then we'll obviously wait for them to come back after they have finished their laps. Alright, so setup-wise, not looking amazing for Kubica. He needs a bit more work on his, what was it? I don't even know what it was actually. Was it his handling? Oh no, downforce, sorry, the handling was fine. Well, the handling was okay. We'll work on that a little bit once. Speed balance is absolutely okay. I'm going to give him higher downforce. I feel like that's probably what he's going to be wanting at this point, so we'll go for that one. Handling will maybe just go a little bit more towards oversteer. And then obviously we need to bring the speed balance back up again if possible. There we go. That'll do the trick there. And then Russell as well is in a pretty similar situation actually. Okay, we've got a really good setup then as far as Russell is concerned. However, Kubica still a little bit annoying is his downforce at the moment. Yeah, that'll probably do the... Actually, well, to be fair, he's only great on his handling. What was he before? He was good there, so we actually want him probably to be closer to that side. How am I going to... Right, how am I going to do this? There we go. That's probably a good balance as far as Kubica is concerned. So we'll send him out once again. I'm happy that that's probably Kubica's better setup now, but I will bring him in regardless because he needs to do a race stint. Yes, right. So great, excellent, and excellent on Kubica. So that's all well and good. He can now go out and do probably 12 laps on a set of the other tyres, if possible. If he could go on to maybe a set of the mediums, that'd be quite good, because I think Russell will probably get that knowledge all on his own. All right, so with a solid 25 minutes of the session to go, we're pretty much done in terms of our knowledge. Level 3 on soft, medium, and hard tyres, as well as qualifying trim and the race trim as well. I've also been able to work out realistically how far each tyre can go. At a stretch, these softs will probably muster about 9 laps, but realistically, we're looking at more like 7 or 8 for the start of a stint or the start of a race if we choose the softest compound. Alright, so it is qualifying time. Doesn't look as if we're going to get any rain in this session, so it's going to be a simple soft tyres and qualifying trim in terms of knowledge for both of these guys. In terms of pacing in practice, Kubica was P8 in that session, and George Russell was P14, I think, by the end. So we might be looking at a similar story of Kubica making it into Q3 and Sirotkin settling for Q2, though that was obviously the opposite way round last time. As far as traffic is concerned, I might just wait for this Ferrari to go through and then send out Sergei Sirotkin as a Force India now. Let's send Sirotkin out, obviously, on a new set of the soft tyres, no real question about that. At this point we've now got other traffic coming around the final corners. Let's go for after the Toro Rosso there, so we'll send Kubica out now as well on a new set of the soft tyres. We're on board with, well, we're watching Sirotkin. He's got overheated and perfect, but he's got a Haas right on him at the moment. We'll put it on ×4. Overheated and good for Kubica. What's his traffic situation? It's okay now. Now that he's overtaken that Mercedes, he's all well and good. Sirotkin, though, is currently 6/10 off, just about, off the lead, and he's going to come across the line to go P10, ahead of Gasly, Sainz, Ocon, Hartley, and Leclerc. He's pushed down to P12 in the end. We'll now look at Kubica around the final corner. He goes P13, so actually behind Sirotkin, although look at that. They've set identical lap times. Sirotkin and Kubica with the exact same lap time. Alright, so solid 4 minutes of the session to go. We'll skip ahead to the 2.5 minute mark so that we can get the track grip up to its optimum phase, if you like. There we go. Right, now let's try and seek out some gaps in the traffic. I think after this Toro Rosso here, Pierre Gasly is probably going to be the best bet for both of them. Oh, Toro Rosso's coming down the pit lane. I've timed that horrendously. Absolutely horrendously. Kubica, though, let's take a look at him. I think he could probably go out now, actually. Oh, that's going to be very close, actually, on Robert Kubica. I think he'll just about survive, but he'll need to push around the lap. Overheated and perfect. Where is Kubica on the lap? I'm actually not sure Kubica's going to make it. Let's watch him just quickly to make sure. Okay, he makes it with 9 seconds to spare. We're really pushing the limit on that one in this series at the moment. Sirotkin has gone white in the first 2 sectors, so it's not going to be an improvement from the Russian. Oh, it is actually. He goes P11. Pulls it together in the final sector, so he should be through. He's absolutely fine. In fact, we're both through because everyone else has set better or has set their final lap times. Kubica jumps up to P11. Time then for Q2. And if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, if we could finish where we were in Q1, that'd be pretty much perfect. I'm not going to lie to you. P11 and P12 are probably the best places on the grid, especially on this game, with the way the tyre wear works to start. Yes, lovely bit of clean air for Robert Kubica. No one around him. Accidentally press bring in instead of auto on. Anyway, right, so let's skip ahead and let's see what Sirotkin can do, first of all. Overheated and cold. Awful, awful prep for him. Not great for Kubica either. 7/10 down already is Sirotkin. Across the line goes P7. Kubica goes P8. But that is last out of the people that have run so far, is P8 and P9. Once again, we'll leave it quite late in the session. I think given how bad the preparation was for both of them, they can definitely both improve quite easily, I feel. This then is make or break as far as Q2 is concerned because, well, we were pretty poor in our first runs, so now it's time for Sirotkin and Kubica to make up for that. Overheated and good again. So once more, not brilliant preparation for either of them. Isn't very helpful. Sirotkin has gone green, though, in the first 2 sectors. Kubica only white, though, in the first. It's not looking like a great lap again for Sirotkin, but it is indeed, in fact. P9 for Sirotkin, P11 for Kubica. So once again, the Russian outperforms his more experienced teammate in qualifying. That's 2 races in a row. Actually, just thinking, is it worth going out in this middle period where a lot of people are coming into the pit lane? Because the track grip is the highest it's going to be. So why don't we go out now? Whilst there's absolutely no traffic out there, let's go out now on a new set of... Let's do some alternative contra strategy. And there's nobody out there. Let's get a lap together. Overheated and cold, though. It's just not what I need, Sergei, mate. Get yourself together. He's just under 4/10 down in the first sector, just under 7/10 down. Round the final corner goes P9. It's better than Van Dorn, but unfortunately it means he's not going to have a chance to go out and do a second lap time because his preparation was so poor. We'll maybe watch Van Dorn, actually, whilst he goes out on his lap. He's set a white first sector. He's set a white second sector. Doesn't look as if it'll be an improvement for the Belgian. And indeed it isn't. So Sergei Sirotkin will start in P9. So here is how the grid will look then for the Portuguese Grand Prix. As far as we are concerned, it's P9 for Sirotkin and P11 for Kubica. He's probably got the best sort of position really to start as far as this mod is concerned, outside of the top 8 really. Sergei Sirotkin in P9. He'll be on warm tyres, but at least he is obviously starting ahead of Kubica. But now it's time for the main event. It's time for the race. Now, laps-wise, we're looking at what sort of race distance? 32 laps. So, we could do 2 stints on the hard tyres, literally until the end. That's a possibility. I think I might do hard tyre knowledge for both of them, because at the moment it looks like, Kubica can do 2 sets of hards till the end of the race. We know we don't need to run 2 sets of tyre compounds in a Grand Prix anymore. And for Sirotkin, he can probably do a soft stint, then a medium stint, and then a hard stint, because obviously he won't be able to do a 1-stop given he's starting on those tyres. So let's put them both on hard tyre knowledge. We might as well go for that, and then race trim as well, obviously. For those guys, driver strategy will attack from the outset. Let's try a 1-stop with Kubica, if possible. It might be a difficult one. We'll have to see how the first stint goes, really, for him. Regardless of that, though, we're ready to get underway here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Will it be a good start? It's not a good start for Sirotkin. He loses out to Van Dorn straight off the line. Kubica's got an okay start, but he's hung out to dry as someone goes off in the background. That was Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. Kubica, though, up into P10. Good start for him. He's jumped ahead of his Williams teammate Sirotkin. So Sirotkin started higher up the order, but he's down into P12. Going to drop him onto neutral driving style, just so that he doesn't completely churn through those tyres in the space of 3 or so laps. Sirotkin up the inside of I think that was Grosjean there. And meanwhile, Kubica is now battling with Nico Hülkenberg. It's Verstappen up in the lead of the race, surprisingly. Kubica's trying a ting at the moment on Hülkenberg, but Sirotkin's trying to go through the middle of both of them. Kubica at the moment is just about ahead. Can he stay ahead of the German? Looks as if he's got that move done. Sirotkin's trying to go around the outside of the Renault man, and now Kubica is on the attack against the McLaren of Alonso. Horrible start for the Spaniard, but Kubica is doing bits on those new tyres. Once again, just going to drop him down to push, because again, we need to make sure that he does an entire stint on these. Pierre Gasly as well has just crashed out of the Grand Prix on the first lap. I've missed that completely. I didn't see what happened. I don't know if there was an incident with another driver. It's always difficult to avoid first lap incidents, and Gasly unfortunately hasn't been able to do so. Going to keep sort of running this rich fuel mixture. Sirotkin double overtake. My guy. Up into P as well, 9 briefly, but Hülkenberg gets him back. Let's go back down to neutral for Kubica, just whilst he's in this phase of being in a good position as far as this race is concerned. Hülkenberg jumps into the pit lane. That's very, very early for him. Kubica's been overtaken there by Raikkonen, but I mean, that's to be expected. The guy's in a Ferrari. I think I might conserve just with Sirotkin. I mean, because he was on 49%, to be fair. Could probably go another 3 laps on those tyres relatively easily, I reckon. He's done 2 laps on them already, or maybe only 2 more. Maybe only 2 more. Let's try and conserve just briefly so that he doesn't start tripping up. Kubica, no, never mind. He's gone past Kubica anyway. This isn't what I need, boys, to be honest with you. Kubica is doing well, though. He's well ahead of the next person on a contra strategy, but he's dropping down the order. Is something wrong with Kubica? Is something wrong with his car? He's lost out to the McLaren there and Sainz Jr. That was very odd. Very, very odd indeed for Sergei Sirotkin. No, it's not Sergei Sirotkin. Very odd for Kubica. He's dropping like a stone. I know these tyres aren't that quick, but they're not that slow either. I mean, he's dropping back into the hands of other people on hards. I think we'll do 1 more lap on these softs and then bring him in at the end of the next one. We'll skip forward just a little bit just to make sure. I think he could squeeze another lap after this one out of these tyres. He's been conserving well. I mean, I said I was going to bring Sirotkin in on this lap, but it might even be worth leaving him out another. I mean, he's on 31% at the moment. Just going to burn a bit more fuel with Kubica to try and get him away from the Force India. But he's actually lost out to Perez, though Perez is on the mediums. Maybe these hards really are not the race tyre. Sirotkin is actually going to come in on this lap because he's losing quite a lot of time at the moment. I don't know, I'm not seeing all that much pace out of the hards at the moment from Kubica, but then again, the other people on the hards seem to be doing a decent job with them. So I think it's still a decent tyre to choose at this point in the race, and then we can open up our options towards the end, and then go for a fast pit stop on Sergei Sirotkin, and he can just push into the pit lane now. He's got the tyre wear to be able to do that. Kubica's now coming back at Sergio Perez, who's of course on the medium tyres, and he's gone past Sergio Perez with the use of maybe some ERS there. Sirotkin is into the pit lane. No, that's regardless. Let's see what the pit stop is like for him. Mistake on the rear jack. Ah, big shame for him. It was a bad one as well. And it's a shame actually, because he would have probably got out ahead here of Raikkonen and Van Dorn without that mistake. That's a big shame for him. We'll drop him straight down onto neutral. as far as the tyre treatment is concerned, but he can push on the fuel. As far as Kubica is concerned, how's he looking in comparison to the other hard runners? He's a bit down on the others, so let's go on to backup. Although his tyre, look at the tyre temps, they're so low already. The tyre temps are so low, but if you could try and do 2 or 3 laps maybe on backup, then we can try a ting with him. Obviously, this is the situation. These tyres are so bad on this Williams because it's so bad on its tyre life. It's really horrendous at that. To be honest, I think we might have to convert this into a 2-stop because the way he's just... I mean, he's not got too much more tyre wear than Ocon, who's on 65% in fairness, but he just needs to get these tyre temps up, and I can't really do that at the moment. Maybe try and get him to attack, but it's a bit of a difficult one, really. For Sirotkin, we'll just leave him on neutral because the tyre temps are looking okay. I'll drop down his fuel usage, though, because at the moment that's very, very high. Kubica, though, is the highest of the guys on a contra strategy right now, so that's at least good. He's raising the tyre temps slightly, but not really by enough. I think we might have to do a 2-stop with Kubica as well. So the same strategy, basically, that Sirotkin is on, but just the flip way round. So maybe put him onto a set of mediums now and then softs at the end, or softs next and then mediums, because the way things are looking, I don't think he can make a 1-stop, on just 2 sets of hards work. He's already on 54%. He's got to do another 9 laps realistically on these, so I just don't think that's going to happen. It is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully we can make a ting work. He is at least quite a chunk ahead at the moment now of the likes of Ocon and Perez. We haven't actually checked up on Sirotkin for a while. We've been chasing Kubica for quite some time, and Sirotkin's actually chasing down a group here of guys who started on the hards at the moment, so he's gained a pit stop pretty much on the likes of Hartley and Magnussen. We've also got people who have pitted already, the likes of Sainz, Raikkonen and Alonso in this gaggle. Hulkenberg's in for a second time. Kubica's doing a good job as well pace-wise, can I just say. Like, he's actually doing a very decent job at the moment to stay pretty clear of the 2 Force Indias. He's got a solid 2 seconds on them, but obviously the tyre wear for them is a lot better. Can Ocon make it to lap 16? I'm not entirely sure. We'll maybe drop down to neutral now for Kubica, but meanwhile Sirotkin's been making some progress. A couple of people have pitted. Vettel, Hulkenberg and Grosjean have pitted for a second time already, and he's also gone past Brendan Hartley out on track. He's now approaching Kevin Magnussen, who also started on the hard tyres, I believe. He's not far away, honestly, from the likes of Raikkonen, Wehrlein and Sainz, who are on the same strategy as him, so well done. And he's on a drop down in compound as well, so really, really impressive stuff from Sergei Sirotkin right now in this race. We use a bit of fuel with Kubica just whilst the tyres are dying on him. We've got a Force India coming into the pit lane. It's going to be Perez who's going to try and get the undercut here on Kubica, but what I'm going to do is push for the entirety of this next lap and then try and cover him off. Or should we do another lap on top of that? Should we try and stretch it out? Or let's try and stretch it out, actually. He might die in terms of tyre life right at the end, but he's got a long way back to Ocon right now. He's got like 6 seconds. As you can see, onto 21% tyre wear. Yeah, he can go another lap. That's all good. 19 laps remaining. I'd love to try and stretch him out to that 16 lap remaining phase, but it's just physically impossible. So if we leave him on sort of backup for now, just for a hot second, I'm going to have to push with Sirotkin because his tyre temps are ridiculously low. And then we're going to push in with Robert Kubica and he can come in to the pit lane. So he is going to go on to another set of the hards. We only have 1 set left. And he's going to run these until probably about lap 27 or maybe even... I mean, I'd love to try the mediums, but they won't last. They just won't last. So Kubica is about to come into the pit lane. He's gained 4 tenths on this lap, so it's been a good in-lap as well from Kubica, despite the tyres being close to going off the cliff. He stretched away from the likes of Ocon. And he's now into the pit lane to stick another set of the hard tyres on. Good pit stop needed. It's a good pit stop indeed. No, it isn't. Was there a mistake there? There was a mistake on the tyres, but it didn't actually come up on the screen for some reason. So I don't know how that's occurred. But he's out of the pit lane and he's just ahead of Charles Leclerc there. So Kubica's off now to do his team. Got a yellow flag because Fernando Alonso has crashed out of the Grand Prix. And he is out. So the McLaren man he's donezo. He's out of the Grand Prix. Kubica, meanwhile, is in P6. And he's got a hell of a lot of people in front of him that need to pit again. Kubica's doing bits right now. Kubica's doing well. Good stuff, mate. Liking that. Right, as far as Sirotkin is concerned, he's P14. There's actually only 8 seconds separating these guys, but look how much in terms of positions there are. Absolutely ridiculous. Sergei Sirotkin at the moment is trying to fend off Hulkenberg. Might just put him into overtake mode just so that he can do that. Auto off and then just use a bit of ERS to try and stay ahead there of the Renault. He's done that successfully. Sergei Sirotkin. Good stuff. Obviously, he can quite easily run another set of the hards to the end of the Grand Prix. We've still got a solid 16 laps of the Grand Prix to go. As long as he can stretch out maybe another 2 or 3 laps, he should be fine on that one. Kubica's going to have to save some fuel, and I think just whilst he's got a bit of an advantage over some of the other guys in the field, I might just drop him onto low right now. He can push, and Raikkonen comes in again. Ocon is going to be jumped by Kubica, and I think the undercut has worked as far as Esteban Ocon is concerned. The one thing we have to worry about with him is that he can go to the end on those hards. Ocon is definitely trying to go to the end, so Kubica's going to have to gain enough time on the Frenchman to then be able to overtake him again at the end on a set of the softs. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to go to the end from this point. Maybe Wehrlein? Probably not. Going to push now with Sergei Sirotkin. He's up into P9, given some people have been pitting around him. I'm really sorry. I've been very bad actually at keeping an eye on the guys who are, you know, overtaking and a sit rep and stuff, and it's largely because it's quite difficult to gauge where we are strategy-wise. I think really in terms of net position, Sirotkin is pretty much where he is right now. I think everyone around him is going to have to pit again apart from Ocon. The only real difference I think is that Kubica is going to lose out obviously to Ocon, and then it depends what Hamilton and Ricciardo do. Kubica at the moment is just conserving on the fuel and conserving on the tyres whilst he's got the opportunity to do so in this Grand Prix. He's got a buffer back to Perez. We may well have to accept that Ocon is beyond our capabilities just because he's not pitting before the end of the Grand Prix. How long have we got left in this Grand Prix? We've got 13 laps. Yeah, he can easily do that on hards. If the car was better, I'd obviously put him on a set of these mediums and try and stretch them out, but I just don't want to take the risk. So he, unfortunately, will have to go on to another set of the hards, which is really annoying. Unless I try and stretch it out, I could try and stretch it out with Sirotkin. I mean, how long of this lap has he got left to go? Do you think yeah, you know what? I'm tempted to actually stretch it out with him and try and go to the mediums. Just do a different ting. Just do a different ting. Yeah, let's try and do that. It's risky. We've got Kubica doing bits. Kubica's in, you know, the non-risky position. That's all calm. With Sirotkin, it's all good. We can afford to take a bit of a risk because I think at the moment he's on the lower end of the points anyway. So we might as well try something with him. Do you get me? So let's attack now. Let's attack into the pit lane and for the rest of this lap, and we'll drop him on a set of the mediums. Sirotkin's coming into the pit lane. He is now in to go on to a set of the mediums. Is it a good pit stop? It is indeed. Right, so no mistakes. Not a great time, but obviously it's better than ending up with a mistake. So, for Sirotkin, obviously we want to drop him onto pretty much neutral straight away because he's going to have to conserve a decent chunk to actually get back into a decent position here. Alright, so 9 laps to go. Kubica probably wants to go another 2 laps. So we've got 9 laps to go. Ideally with Kubica, we want to try and go 3 laps on these hards. I don't know whether they will go that distance. I'll put him onto conserve actually just whilst he's trying to do that. But yeah, I think he may well have to do 2 laps and then try and just eke out the softs just a little bit more than he would at the end of the stint. Although we could probably do 7 whilst pushing. I'm very concerned about Sirotkin's fuel. Like, I did not notice it was that high. That is ridiculous. I'm not even sure we can actually conserve that much fuel between now and the end of the race. That is a ridiculous amount. He's just gone past Raikkonen and round the outside of Ericsson though. Fair play, my lads. Good stuff. Meanwhile, with Kubica, just going to go back onto neutral with him. We've got another yellow flag because Romain Grosjean is now out of the Grand Prix. How many accidents have we had in this race? Jesus Lord. Still no safety car. Would have been actually a perfect time for a safety car because we could have pitted Kubica. We've got 6 laps remaining. Let's just bring him in. Let's bring him in. He can easily do that. In fact, we probably could have brought him in the lap before. That was probably the better option, actually. Recharge the battery. Pit strategy safe. And we'll just push into the pit lane now with Kubica. We probably could have brought him in on the last lap, as I mentioned, but hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference. So Kubica's going to come in. Hopefully he'll come out around about Daniel Ricciardo, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a good pit stop, just what we needed, right. He is going to come out, I think, P6, but he can pretty much push now till the end of the race, and on the fuel as well. We'll put it onto high. And Daniel Ricciardo and Ocon are both going to be struggling at the end of this Grand Prix massively with tyre wear, actually. They're really going to struggle. Ocon has got 5 laps over remaining and he's on 33%. He isn't going to make it. So I think Kubica can actually push and try and attack these guys and try and make it as far as he can. We'll just go on to push, not attack for now, just to make sure. But obviously we want him to really gain this time now after pitting an extra time. Sirotkin, as far as tyre life is concerned, I think he's actually going to be alright. He's on 50% and he's only got, what, 5 laps to go? As far as Kubica is concerned, he's gone past Sebastian Vettel. Beautiful stuff from Robert Kubica. Brilliant, brilliant racecraft from the pole, and he's now approaching Daniel Ricciardo at a very, very quick rate of knots. This is impressive. This is very, very, very impressive from Kubica, and he's only 3 seconds now off Ocon. He's pushing to the limit, but he's setting some ridiculous lap times and sector times at the moment, and these guys are only going to get slower. 3 laps to go, 66% tyre wear. It's looking good. It's looking real good for Kubica. He might actually be able to nab a podium here. He might genuinely be able to nab a podium. We've got a lot of ERS to use as well, coming out of the final corner, which we're going to use now, because I left it on auto off by accident. So let's use that, and let's see if he can get past Daniel Ricciardo. Can he now? Trying to go around the outside of the Australian, and he's done it, and Ocon pitted, so he's up into P3. Brilliant stuff from Robert Kubica, dropping back down into medium on both so that he can conserve for a little bit. This is looking good. It's looking good for Robert Kubica to nab a podium. Oh my life. Robert Kubica's on a mad thing, everyone. This is absolutely incredible. Sirotkin, I think he's going to run out of fuel. He's got 2 laps. It's Sergei, mate. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I think he's going to run out of fuel. In fairness, he might only run out of fuel with like a third of the lap to go, which might just keep him in the points. But, I mean, it might just squeak down to like negative 0.2, which might lose him 1 place to Sainz, but hopefully not drop him out of the top 10. Should we try and push to try and get Verstappen at the end of the race? Let's do it. He's got 41%. He's only got 1 lap to go. He should be able to make that pretty comfortably. We'll keep an eye on it though. I want to make sure that he doesn't completely screw it up. We've done well to get into a podium place, so I don't want to mess this up right at the end. Back up for Sirotkin, he's on 22% tyre wear. He'll just squeak to the end on the tyre wear. It's the fuel that I'm concerned about. The fuel I'm very concerned about. Kubica, meanwhile, is going on the hunt. He's going on the hunt for Max Verstappen. Come on, Chief. Do it. Do the ting. Do the ting. Chase him down. Need to drop it onto low fuel just because he's gone negative. Hamilton has won the race. Doesn't look as if he's going to catch Verstappen. He's used up all his tyre life, so we'll drop it onto neutral just to make sure he doesn't plummet at the end. But it looks like it's going to be a podium for Robert Kubica. Round the final corner, Robert Kubica takes P3. Unbelievable drive from the pole. That is absolutely unreal from him. Great stuff from Kubica. Unfortunately, Sirotkin was not able to hold on. He's run out of fuel at the end, which is surprising because he was only on 0.12 as a negative. I don't know how he's managed to run out of fuel halfway around the lap. You'd have thought he would have run out of fuel. He finished on 0. How did he run out of fuel so early in the lap? That doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand that. We've only lost like 1 point as far as Sirotkin is concerned. We should be happy about the podium, and indeed, well, we've got to be. Robert Kubica has genuinely scored a podium here for Williams. Absolutely unreal. Robert Kubica grabs our 2nd podium of the season after 3rd place for Sirotkin in the opening round of the series. Great stuff from him. Unfortunately, I let Sirotkin down when it came to the fuel. He probably would have finished 10th/11th had it not been for that, but his tyres were dying as well, so it's a bit of a questionable one, but obviously if I'd have managed the fuel a bit better, he probably would have got a solitary point. But instead, Stoffel Van Dorn grabs that. Absolutely unreal from the veteran. He's still got it. He's still got it. As Robert Kubica had great pace throughout that Grand Prix when it was really required as well, and was so good in that final stint on the softs. And it's a bronze trophy for us. Hamilton won from Verstappen, both of those guys injured. and then Kubica. And that moves the pole up ahead of his teammate actually in the championship, up into P9. 21 points now for him, 18 for Sergei Sirotkin, and both of our drivers in the top 10. Very, very impressive stuff for both of these guys now so far this season. And we're now P5 in the Constructors' Championship. Force India continuing to stretch away from us because both Ocon and Perez are getting considerably good results on a regular basis at the moment. But we've now stretched a, 12-point lead over McLaren and 15-point lead over Renault, and then Haas in P8 as well. But there you have it. What an unreal episode that was. Next time we'll be in South Africa at Cape Town, but you'll see that in the next episode. For now, if you enjoyed this video, slap a like on it. What a result, and finally we've actually nailed a strategy for once, like completely nailed it. If you're new around here, then feel free to subscribe. It's the big red button under the video, and if you want to, you can follow me on social media too. My Twitter and Insta are both at the official FNG, but it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
I want you, you want me, I know that. Oh shit, fuck all these movies with 10 and there's that fit with too much emotion. Oh shit, she said love is a poison, so use it with caution. Oh shit, fuck all these movies with 10 and there's that fit with too much emotion. I ain't fucking with these love songs, never, never.